And for the people on teams, it looks like HCA just got all their players in. Will be starting momentarily. They're still in a warm-up phase. We started. This is actually live, correct?
I'm not sure actually. I didn't get a clarification in chat.
Yeah, I mean they got their player in, and this is not a warm-up round, so I think they did actually start without announcing it, so that was just too confusing. So, one thing that'll make this extra fun is there's a server-side mod, which is over the colors of Vlandia, the green. I think that was for some modded battle gameplay from VK earlier, which wasn't recorded. That's something I haven't seen in the past. You have this green crossbow, which is reminiscent of Rodox. So that was the idea, but I think they just ripped it off. One kind of much more solid version of that we've been seeing about the tournament is the red and black Vlandia. Looks like a pretty bad initial start for VK4 here. They definitely got kind of ruined my script here by starting right away.
I mean, I'm not sure this is actually the game.
Is this actually live? We don't know yet.
I don't think so. No.
Alright.
Okay, yeah. We're messing around.
Alright. Neat. So, anyways, about the teams. We have VK4-Battledroids and HCA. So, currently in the standings and challenge, we have VK4-Battledroids at 3 and HCA at 4. VK4 has 20 points overall, HCA has 16 points overall. Their win-loss ties record is 1-1-0 for VK4 and 1-1-0 for HCA, so similar number of wins and losses across the teams. And we just lost somebody from HCA. Looks like they're trying to move it back into war and kind of get ready to here.
Yeah.
Suppose there's
teams.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, according to B1, our mics are low, by the way. So
okay.
If you can raise the volume of Discord.
No, that's not what we do. We'd have to bump the, reduce the reduction, basically, in OBS is what we're doing.
Okay. Yeah, do that.
Alright, so anyways,
okay, so
go ahead.
From my knowledge, right now, DD from VK, Battledroids are not using their full lineup. They are missing Rakmis, which is a huge piece on their lineup. They are currently subbing in for Trizoid, I think, which is certainly a replacement, but I don't think it's as good as Rakmis. So it should be interesting. I do think that HCA is using their full lineup. I'm not sure about it. Let me check. Yeah, I think they're using nearly the full lineup. They are missing one person.
Who just
like seems to be Eddie. And they're using someone they added late in, which is Antic. So it should be interesting. I don't know really a lot about HCA, but I do know that B1.
Players, so
okay.
Some of them are pretty good. Antic, I think, honestly, is probably too good to be in the division. Just my personal opinion. He's really good at the game. I don't know if he's good at Cav or not. I think I've fought him out in Cav maybe once or twice, but I think he's pretty cracked at infantry. Budashad, I recognized and think he's pretty good as well. Zyan, I don't know him that well, but I've seen him here and there. I don't think he's going to be too bad either. Sintra's very solid, has lots of skirmish experience, obviously. I think I've said it in the past in previous matches. He also has pretty good callouts.
Yeah, I think Sintra has like the most matches on the VKMM bot actually.
He's same thing for the probably with the standard MM matchmaking as well. So anyways, we'll be starting here pretty soon, I think. That was the restart to reset all the and everything. I'll probably be starting here momentarily. So, not really sure what to expect. I think Blue Top we've seen on Cav in earlier matches, if I recall correctly. Cheval, I think I know plays Cav as well, so I would not be surprised to see Blue Top and Cheval on Cav. I think Cheval's pretty nasty on Cav, in a good way for HCA, potentially a bad way for VK. Trizoid's very solid on Cav. We might see him play that. I was telling him the other day. He's not bad. Battledroid obviously is also a big Cav player, so I expect to see some combination of Battledroid and maybe Trizoid on Cav. I wouldn't even be too surprised if they go 5-1. We've seen some VK teams do that. I think EDIV team did that, and they had a bad time, the VK5 EDIV team, but that's not really a fair comparison because their opponents were carried by Peace, SOEL Peace, who was way better Cav than I am, and I'm C Division.
And we also have no Cav players. Literally,
yeah,
we have no Cav players.
Even for E-Division, they're not the best Cav players, honestly. No offense.
Yeah, no, don't take it.
On VK5. So, they just they need more practice. They've definitely been improving. I think Droid has improved himself. We've been doing a little bit in there. But he still has room to grow. Anyways, it looks like we'll be actually starting here. Both teams are ready. That's incredible. We'll actually be having a match. Truth be told, I think this would be a reasonably close match. I don't expect this to be a stop either way. But I'm really not sure what's going to happen.
Well, let's see compositions.
Yeah, they're place teams so far. So
Battania HCA is using 2 Cav in this map, which is pretty interesting. This is generally regarded as a 1 Cav map. Let's see how it plays out for them.
I think the majority of teams have gone 2 Cav in this map so far. But we haven't seen on these lives. Antic, I know is going to be a problem player, and he's on Cav, so I think I fought him. I think he's pretty solid as well. I would not be surprised if he does a lot of scoring. Some points to VK4.
But never mind, VK is actually stomping the fight. They've gotten already 3 down. One of their Cav is dead. This seems to be like a really clean fight for VK.
Antic gets a pretty big hit in there.
Yeah, both Cavs are out.
Who their second Cav is?
It's Antic and Buddha.
Okay.
Yep.
They
yeah, so great.
Antic
they swept.
Get any score that fight.
Yeah,
almost.
VK swept that fight. That was really good for VK. B1 not doing as much work as he should, but still. Phoenix carrying for VK on the first fight.
Their cap, Buddha, who's got no score, although this is towards the end of the fight, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I said last time we've seen a fight on this map between Battania and Vlandia that I wouldn't put too much stock into the outcome of the first round. Each side is still working out their eco. Whoever wins the fight has more of an advantage than you would expect them to in subsequent rounds.
Yeah, but first round for Vlandia is a lot worse for Battania because their present class is awful. So this is actually really huge for VK.
Really, whoever wins the first fight, like, kind of, is probably gonna win.
Yes.
They just do
the round. Yeah, as you can see, they are cleaning it up. Only 2 members of HCA left with a team kill.
Stab there. I don't know if I'd go two spears here, but it is worth it. Battledroid dismounted.
I mean, it doesn't matter, it's over.
I didn't realize that Trizoid had a kill. Team kill.
Round over for B1 putting in 400 score. That's a lot of...
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a lot of score for us, especially for a single Cav against 2.
Yeah, 440 in... Great point. Getting 440 score is a pretty big accomplishment. I do expect Antic to do better in subsequent rounds. I think maybe he just had a bad round, a bad start, maybe he's not warmed up, but you know, I think he's a decent chance of doing some damage on Battledroid. He's not bad on Cav to my collection.
They are staying with the 2 Cav, which is interesting for me. Let's see how it plays out for them. And actually, there isn't a spear in BK. No one is trying a spear.
He's a tiny man, but Battledroid
that's pretty odd. And the HCA isn't running a spear. They're about to fight, let's see how it plays out.
Weird like that with you guys chasing him.
B1 dismounted.
It's hard to tell who's up in this fight. One of the VK players is doing a smart move, which is playing more offensively when he's hurt. He's about to get out there.
It's a good rear from B1, but fine dismount.
Turned into a team fight. Yeah, Zralock almost got killed earlier, but they ended up going for it on the team instead.
Yeah. But this seems to be... Never mind, this seems to be still even.
Yeah, it was looking like HCA was going to take that fight, and then it turned to
Yeah.
even when they wanted to have it be... Because even if they lose without doing any more damage in this 1v2, I don't see HCA doing much.
A lot with our first life. Yeah.
The whole point of winning the first fight is that you have enough, health and surviving players to go fight second lives, the enemy team, and they're already split. I don't see Carrion and Blue Top doing much. I think they're second lives. Okay, let's just cavalry.
No, but...
This is dismounted by Antic. That's what I was expecting to see some plays by Antic here.
That's really bad for B1. That second life dismounted. Really early too. Never mind, he got a horse.
Remounts from Antic.
Yeah.
Risky play, apparently.
Yeah, well, VK is back on form. There's going to be an even fight.
Uda's gotten a ton of score this round. I think he didn't do nearly as much the first.
Yeah. The info on HCA isn't doing as well as they would like. We can see even a single digit score.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, let's hope they do better this fight. How it plays out for them.
Antic gets knocked out completely. Trizoid.
I didn't realize, but each day seems to have a peasant life.
No, that's just Antic dismounted.
No. I think it's out. That's a genuine peasant life.
Oh, you're right.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was a dumb statement from me. I didn't realize that Antic was already dead from dismounted earlier by Trizoid.
Well, peasant life or not, it doesn't seem to matter because HCA takes a round.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened with the peasant life. Maybe it doesn't make sense. So. What's his eco at? He just has more eco, so that leads me to believe that he just misselected it, I think.
Probably. He doesn't know how to play skirmish, maybe.
Yeah, I've got a request to increase the mic volume. Let me see if I can just increase my gain a little bit. Let's see how that goes. So the hardware gain's increased by a bit. And let's see how this goes. I'll also try, I lowered the in-game volume by a little bit, so if its audio is better, let me know in half a minute. Peace. I appreciate the comment in chat, the call out about the audio levels. Did bump down the in-game audio a little bit, so even if I'm still quiet, at least it'll be relatively louder, so there's that.
So we're about to get a fight. Antic getting hit by a lot of early damage. He gets dismounted early.
Chase Battledroid, and that might be a problem for him.
Yeah, Antic is out already. First life. He shouldn't be re-engaging.
If these guys are down like on one end, because they have 2 cav, so they only have 4 infantry. If one of their infantry splits off to go chase Battledroid like they were doing, like they're really down in the infantry fight if they do that.
But it doesn't seem to matter.
It doesn't seem to matter this time. It seemed to work out okay for them.
VK losing the infight once again. And
Scoreboard's
yeah,
been
every single
incremented
member
by
of
the
VK dying.
Yeah. Battledroid goes down there too. Let's see. So currently, HCA is doing reasonably well, especially to have a couple of players who aren't scoring that well. Although they don't necessarily need to get a ton of score. They need to stay alive and let their cav cook if they have two cav who are pretty solid players. Luda goes down there. That's going to hurt them. I think that was his first life.
Yeah, I think that VK didn't get damaged by those first life. And Bula is out actually.
Yeah, he just I think and he once goes down again.
Yeah,
He's
and
he's
B1 got
out.
him. Yeah, and that's the
that's
top scorer by a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
he
gonna
has over
be
600 score compared for the second player. I don't know if HCA can recover, but let's find out.
Yeah, being down one and that one person's their best player, I think VK has a slight advantage here, despite losing the first fight.
Slight is saying a lot. I think they have a huge advantage, but let's see how it plays out.
And Ante goes down. I think that the VK4 wins this. Especially if Cav does a little bit of damage, just has to not miss. Nice.
Yeah, and as expected, VK cleans it, really. No deaths on their side. It really seems that Buddha has that much of an impact on HCA.
I think you're right. MVP every time, getting tons of score. That's it's been 3 full rounds. He's gotten, what is it, 1100, almost 400 score per round, like 350-ish. 350's high. More than good.
Yeah, well, let's see if HCA can recover from that loss. 2-1 for VK.
Oh, Battledroid's gonna get in trouble here. Yeah, I saw that happening. He can't afford to be unaware like that. Like, you can't be dueling. You have to assume times if you're dueling in a 2v1 scenario like that, the other guy's coming blindside you. No, they're capping, and even you really know your teammates are calling out for you.
Well, apparently VK is now taking a spear. As they should be. And they are pushing the alley. It seems they want to fight A side.
Sintra is way ahead of his team. I don't know what's going on there. Is he trying to bait them into pushing? It seems like the strategy to bait them into the tunnel. But
I don't know, but VK seems pretty split. They didn't catch it, but yeah, but they didn't catch it. But they did do a lot of damage. So that's still good for them. And surprisingly, they aren't getting morale either.
He's in trouble. Like, this is gonna be bad for him.
But Buddha rears. That's unfortunate.
I mean, Battledroid's hurt here. I think he's gonna have a tough time in this first fight. I would not be surprised if he goes down really fast. Yeah, he's gonna be stressed out, and they're really going for him because they know he's lit. You see that they stayed on him the whole time there.
Yeah. But still, he still is alive, and a member of HCA is not. So let's see if that was worth it for the HCA CAF. He finally goes down. Yeah.
Sintra goes down. Yeah, it's not looking good for VK4 now.
Yeah, they just got swept. And only Trizoid is alive.
Comes in right away. I don't think he did maybe some damage. Hard to tell. Cav getting stuck on lots of walls, and getting punished every time, but it's happening too much. I was lucky on this. That was a huge hit. It's going to really reduce the chances for HCA to do damage on their first lives. Battledroid helping out here is really important, because if they had been fighting 3 infantry unobstructed without cavalry knocking them out like that, like Battledroid getting 2 kills there really preserved the HP for the second lives for VK4.
And something to take note of, one member of HCA does not have eco. he had to spawn Peasant Life. Again. Yeah. I mean, this time it was an actual lack of eco.
Yeah, because if you don't get enough kills, that does sometimes happen.
It's not kills, it's actually surviving around. It's not kills. Killing gives you no money. But it doesn't matter now that we are fighting. One down for each team. But it doesn't matter because Antic was on his first life.
Sintra did a very solid job there at 2v1.
Yeah, the HCA inf getting swept. And it seems that they actually went 5-1 for the last fight, but it wasn't enough. It seems that Buddha went inf. Yeah.
Droid jousted his horse. That was the best move.
Okay, yeah, it's 3v1, it should be over. And it is. That's 3-1 for VK on the first half of the first map.
Oh, well, now they're going to be switching. It'll be VK4 on Battania and HCA and Vlandia. Let's see how they do.
Looking at the scores, for HCA it was very top heavy. Antic and Buddha putting in the most work. They had like 3 players below 500 score, so let's see if they can recover.
Yeah, we had a comment that it's weird that there's no archers. What I want to note is that, you know, especially below C Division, this is a D Division match, but like E Division, D Division, not uncommon for there to be a deficit of players who are comfortable playing Archer. The thing about Archer is, like, you have to be an uncommonly good infantry player to actually survive as Archer, because you have to be able to survive sometimes one without a shield. And, like, to a certain extent, you have to be better at infantry than the infantry to be an Archer, which is, like, you know, obviously, if you think about a real-world scenario, you wouldn't expect, like, people at melee combat to necessarily be the people who are fighting from a distance. But in a skirmish mode, kind of a small, you know, in the contrivances of a non-realistic scenario, it does make sense. So, I mean, obviously, Fian is a pretty strong class relatively. I think, you know, Fian maybe he plays Archer a little bit, I'm not sure. I think Sintra occasionally plays Archer, you know, here and there. It's not his favorite class.
Yeah, but I don't think they're running Archer, especially on this map.
Yeah, this map's not a good map for Archers either. That's 2 reasons why. Generally speaking, none of these players are really Archer mains, and then besides that point, this is just a bad map for it. Like, you know, if there was a window here and you could shoot into B,
yeah, like
that would be one thing. That would completely change how this map is for Archers. But, you know, if you could force B, then you could really cheat with your Archer to a certain extent. Not really cheat, but have a huge advantage. But it's
now we are back live. Yeah, now we are back live. And there were some changes on HCA's roster. They got out Sun Yao, Sao, I think it was called, and Cheval. And they got in Prap and Truth. So they got 2 new players. I think the ones they removed were the lowest scoring on the last half. Let's see how it goes for them.
What's funny, because this is actually Zhao's sweatshop is the team, so the captain got kicked off of his own line. Battledroid gets a kill right away. It's huge. Their best players.
And that's on Buddha, yeah. And the other calf gets dismounted. This awful start for HCA.
Battledroid also gets dismounted. He's gunning straight for the horse, which HCA is trying to knock out.
I don't think he's gonna remount. The horse is running away from him.
He's not gonna be able to remount.
BK was winning the fight, but now they seem to be losing. Yeah, they got the early kills, but it seems they didn't manage to close it out. The sapping for Prap actually coming in clutch for HCA, where he is the best performer on the first fight.
Right. But he gets knocked out seemingly without doing... Zralock's taken a pretty nasty hit from someone, not sure who. It could have been Cav. So I think Zralock is looking hurt. It's hard to tell if that's enemy blood or his blood, but Zralock and Cleon potentially might be kind of low. So, you know, VK4 definitely not at the advantage here. You know, oddly, it's quite close to the end of this round, and nobody's taking a flag yet. You know, one thing that I'll note is maybe a D division thing is carrying 2 shields. Like, that really is not necessary. It slows you down. So I think in a higher level match, you would pretty much never see that. Cav gets knocked out again. Battledroid's doing huge work here.
There was a team kill on VK. Phoenix got team killed by Trizoid, I think. That's very bad for them. But still, apparently they still have a sergeant on HCA side.
I didn't,
So they
didn't see what happened. Was it Cav or something?
Die, you bastard!
I am unsure, actually.
I don't know how that worked out. Yeah, I don't know how they had the eco for that.
Apparently, it was still a first
Battledroid
life.
is winning so many 50-50s, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I think at this point, we did have a comment saying this from someone in the chat, Sneaky Boy, saying, Battledroids are going to win, he thinks. I tend to agree with him at this point. It's looking heavily advantaged to VK4 overall. Which could have been a huge shakeup. Closer match than Rob in the mix. The other guy who was subbed in was a Truce. He's not doing that well either.
Yeah, it was Truce. Maybe a bad round. Let's see how it changes.
Could be. Yeah, could change.
But B1 putting in a lot of work.
Yeah, I don't know if we can really count good of a performance. I mean, that seems like a little bit of uncommon luck to get that many 50-50s in.
I mean, longer spear, Battania. Makes sense.
What is the overall distance? I think Battania is 201, and I don't recall Vlandia's at something like mid 190s. I think.
Yeah. Still, even 5 distance is a lot.
I mean, even 3 or 2 or 3 would be big potentially.
Yeah. But anyway, it seems that HCA is staying with the 4-2 comp. Maybe I should switch it up eventually, but it doesn't seem to be working for them a lot. Doesn't matter, they are fighting now on B1, it's out super early. Yeah. That's really bad for VK.
Yeah, Battledroid needs to stay alive to play comfortably versus 2 Cav. Because you have to be able to joust at least one of them.
Well. Yeah, this doesn't look to be like a good fight for VK. And B1 came with second life and it doesn't manage to hit anything.
He's probably trying to play somewhat cautiously because, yeah, they're going to go for him. I can tell both of them are just going straight for him. He really needs to be more defensive like this.
No, well, that was this seems to be like a clean sweep for HCA.
So 1 Cav, first life, and pretty much full HP as far as I can full HP. 1 Cav, first life, reasonably healthy, maybe. I mean, it's going to be tough for the Battledroid to do work in this next fight. Just be focusing on Cav at this point. Where is he? He's hiding by his infantry, as he probably should be. You don't want to get kind of taken from 2 directions by enemy Cav, which much more likely to happen. That's big. Both Cav is mounted for HCA. I think VK4 has a chance of doing better here, but they have so many of their first lives still up in HCA. I don't see VK4 not taking lots of damage.
Every single first life had.
Well, they actually cleaned it up really fast. That was clean.
Yeah.
They're basically untouched.
Of the VK members, only Zralock seems to be low HP or hit at all. The rest seem to be actually healthy.
I can't even see any blood for Zralock on my screen.
Yeah, there is on mine. Sintra nearly got a dismount, but if he's fighting...
We have 1 Spearman really split from the fight, which is not good.
And B1 is out. That's really rough for VK.
They're fighting in a very enclosed area, so it's going to be tough for Cap to do a ton of work, but I wouldn't be surprised if he get killed here. Antic does get 2 kills right away. Okay, my Cap is mounted. This is definitely favored to HCA overall. I don't see this is going to be tough to 1v6 their team here. PhoenixDawn, solid player.
But it's not enough, as another sweep. This round was sweep after sweep after sweep.
Yeah.
It's crazy, actually.
One thing to mention about PhoenixDawn is that his mechanics are very solid, but he's actually to my knowledge. So,
I mean, at least to VK, but yes.
Yeah.
And one thing to look out for, the VK economy is looking pretty tight.
Yeah,
they have 3 players on their last heavy life, yeah. On their last heavy life, so if they lose this round, the next round is going to be extremely rough for them. Let's see if they manage to clutch it out.
They let the guy escape without getting any damage, which is not good. Actually, you know what? Ron, his horse is visible, isn't he? Or, nope, I am colorblind, apparently. Couldn't find for... Buddha's horse is fine. Away there.
What surprises me is that VK has managed to keep the flag. Like, there hasn't been any attempt at all by HCA to morale them.
Yeah, with 2 cav, they really should be holding the morale advantage at all times, but they're paying too much attention to just, like, penning in the infantry and not really holding morale advantage.
And it seems that we have a fight.
Wow, he gets dismounted right away there on HCA. Was that Buddha? No, it was Antic, I think.
Yeah, it's Antic,
Yeah.
dismounted.
Can't see Antic's Mohawk with the helmet on.
With the penis helmet, yeah. And a team kill on VK side. V1 doing a hate crime on Zralock. But still, it's yet to be. It's still an even fight. 3v3 right now.
That's
The second life.
Battledroid.
Yeah.
He might have turned the fight there.
Now 1v1 on Inf.
Okay.
V1
Yeah, I think
dismounted.
Overall, HCA wins this fight overall, I think. With Cap dismounted. Even if, you know, he survives.
I mean, let's see if V1 can get a dismount. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, I think with their 2 cav up, we can call this a win for them. If I was them...
I mean, yeah, they have 1 coffee second life. Any damage to that second life is really huge. And here comes
They're
the
being
second life
really greedy
HCA.
here. They need to just let the infantry kill this guy. They took that hit for no reason. Just let the infantry cook.
Yeah.
He's not going to do much in a 1v4 here, so...
He got a hit. That's better than nothing.
Yeah. They go for a bump stab, but they miss. Wow, that's huge. Buddha's mounted. Is that a second life? No, he's not. He was first. Yeah, if you're going to reset, they should have let Buddha reset before the fight started instead of having him suicide in the first 10 seconds.
Yeah.
He gets stuck right away, and then he takes a hit.
Yeah, I think both forces are pretty low. Antic also took a lot of hits. Frap is out. First kill for VK. B1 is out. It seems to be like a mostly even fight. But HCA seems to be getting out on top.
Yeah, HCA just evened up the infantry numbers. I think that's going to be bad for VK4, obviously with 2 cav up. Would be pretty huge for them to... Yeah, I don't see them touching this.
Yeah. And now it's... I think the match is gonna end at another 3-1 on Vlandia's side.
Which would actually
VK has no economy. Yeah, VK has no economy, actually.
Yeah, only 1 infantry player has enough gold to spawn sergeant, but actually, maybe 2. 2 have enough for sergeant lives twice, but 3 are going to be peasants on their second life.
Yeah.
That's peasants the first. Okay.
I mean, it's probably going to be 3 whitelings.
Right. Good point.
Which should be good against 2CAF if they manage to hit the javelins. So
Yeah,
it
one thing
might
I was-
not be completely over.
I was curious if they were going to bring any of their lighter classes in the first life. Sometimes you kind of stagger out the eco disadvantage a little bit between two lives. That way your second life isn't overall as weak.
It seems they chose against it.
I don't know if they really considered it, because that's a strategy I don't just see at all divisions of play. That's
Oof.
really bad for VK4.
That's
They were already at a
awful. That's
disadvantage.
awful for
I think
VK.
it might be it for them. This is looking to be a 3-1 in this half. Xauna.
And I'm surprised that Spear is being two-handed. They got a rear, but no dismount. That's really bad for them.
People needed a left click when a horse gets reared right in front of them. They just weren't left clicking. PhoenixDawn gets out Truce. Proud gets Trizoid.
B1 is actually putting in a lot of damage on Buddha, but it's not enough to get a kill.
I think this two-handed spear. That's good. That's good. Gets that
Got a kill.
Finally seeing
B1
people
actually
kind
put
of win a fight.
Yeah, B1 is actually putting in a lot of work on that second life. Since he compensated for the loss.
Letting themselves... I mean, they really got picked away. They were winning the infantry fight by like 2. The last 2 did not... Winning the first... VK4 at all.
I mean, I'm surprised they went
Oh
2
my
peasant
God.
lives and only 1 wildling.
Oh my god, why did he do that? That's crazy. I mean, it's very greedy to think that you're gonna win here without
That's a
going
dismount
brigand.
on... Yeah, it's a first life calf. Should be cleaned up pretty soon. Yeah. And another big thing, the 2 cavalry on HCA side has peasant lives too, so they can play decently risky.
Right.
No, a team hit on the horse of B1 is not a good start, as you want to say.
Have read right away, and then Spear doesn't do anything.
1 peasant life down, the other peasant life down.
Yeah, this is looking pretty bad for UK4.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have to do something crazy to clutch here for them. I don't think so.
And a 5v2 seems to be the end of this match and the end of this map.
They really should not have brought those peasant lives. I think that was either a genuine mistake or it was very greedy to think that they would actually win with 2 peasant lives. They could have brought brigands. Well, that evens it up.
But still, it's a 4-4 on the first map. A really, really close game, actually. A lot closer than the first half would make it seem, but it seems that Vlandia is just that strong.
I think the next map is going to be Lighthouse, and if I'm not mistaken, the factions are Battania, and the other one is probably Empire. Let's double check.
It's Battania Empire, yeah, Battania Empire.
Yeah. I'm surprised that I remember that correctly, but I'm not unhappy with that.
I mean, after steamroll on the past Monday. Or first Tuesday, sorry.
Oh yeah, there was like was that like a 12-1 or something? All right, there'll be the so that
Yeah. Why some up called Lighthouse if there is no Lighthouse?
gotta add some smoke to it. We have burning buildings in Xauna. We don't even have a little tower fire in the Lighthouse. Alright, so we'll see here. Obviously, a greater disparity for faction economy, for map, Empire and Battania. A lot more dissimilar than Empire and Vlandia. Sorry, than Battania and Vlandia. Battania and Vlandia have the same eco. You know, 160 heavy infantry lives. You can buy one the first round, and then, you know, the meta strategy is to go your peasant life the second life of the first round only. And then ideally, you perform well enough to be able to afford all heavy infantry lives for the subsequent rounds. Obviously, Empire, their Legionary is 150 gold, so they should be significantly advantaged on the first round, and subsequent rounds, probably not so much. They're probably, you know, gearing up to be at a slight disadvantage, at least, versus Battania. So we'll see how that goes out. You know, obviously, we have seen upsets where the Empire, across various division levels, is when it's... So, let's see. We have VK4 on Empire. Battania, they got 10 seconds to pick their classes. I'm guessing 4-2 from HCA. I'm guessing 5-1 from Empire. VK4.
I mean, this is a really CAF-heavy map, actually. I'm not surprised if VK runs to CAF. Yeah, they have Trizoid on CAF.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, let's see how it turns out with an even infight. And let's see how Trizoid does as cavalry. First time we were seeing in this match. And a huge start for VK. Yeah. I'm surprised no one went down to get a spear.
I guess the fight is starting right away, so it makes sense. And actually, the Empire Spear is slightly longer than the Battania Spear. I think maybe very
really?
similar. It's 201 or 202 on Empire. It's actually one longer than the Bamboo Spear. I know that much, relatively.
I didn't know that, actually. But still, seems to be for now an even fight. But still remember that it's not even enough. Because Empire is really favored on the first round. And still they seem to win the fight by a huge margin with 3 players left. If they manage to close it out.
That's pretty big to get that kill there.
I mean,
They reduce how much damage VK4 can do with the remaining first lives. Battledroid's lucky to not take any damage there. Had he been a little bit later, he would have gotten possibly knocked out. Yeah, Blue Top for forever 3v1.
Yeah, and during that time they had HCA had flag superiority, so the morale might come into factor.
I think fighting right on top of the flag was a bit of a mistake.
Yeah.
Battledroid gets himself knocked out by hitting that wall.
Yeah, this is really a waste of the second life, sorry, the first life from BK side. They lost 2 players for absolutely no reason, and they don't really seem to be doing any damage. Yeah.
Just a little bit would be huge. Have one guy low. They
got 1 hit. Yeah.
There's 1 or 2, I think. This guy's looking okay.
I mean, it's
Tyrion
good, but
seems
still
fine.
not ideal.
I'm just very glad that this server does not have a green override in Empire. I'm gonna flip out if I have to look at any more green versus green fights.
Oh man, don't you love the color green? Don't you love the grass? Beef, why do you hate grass, man?
I hate touching grass. If I wanted to touch grass, I wouldn't be streaming this, sorry. So anyways.
Not real, not real.
Alright, so... Plus
We're fighting and Trizoid is mounted.
Speaking of green, it's slightly funny that Buddha and Battledroid both have green faces and they're both cat players.
Well, it seems to make an easier target to hit, apparently, because Buddha just got hit in the face.
It has a calming effect on yourself, apparently. It keeps you locked at 50-50s, which is on tick or not.
Or just make a better target. But it doesn't seem to matter because, as expected, Empire won the first round.
Right.
That's how it should be every time. And if it doesn't happen, the game is doomed.
Not always. We have seen some upset. That does happen. Teams, higher level division teams. The round to win. 2-3 rounds. It's interesting when that happens because you don't expect it. You usually treat that as like, well, you couldn't win the easiest round. It's unlikely that you'll win the ones that are harder. But it's.
And Trizoid seems to get hit by 2 horses right now, with B1 harassing the inf.
Yeah, B1 is getting a lot of walls here for no reason.
Yeah.
It's happened last round, happened this round. I've seen it earlier too. He's got to work on his.
Yeah, he seems to have the same sensors as a Slacker. And both VK cats dismounted. That's really bad for them. They need to compensate. Yeah, but they need to make use of them. And B1 cannot right now. He's been harassed non-stop. Yeah, he's taken out.
They both cap go down on inf.
Yeah. Here needs to be a miracle from the VK inf. But it doesn't seem to be happening.
Yeah, apparently not.
Yeah, that seems to be a sweep from HCA.
4 relatively healthy first lives could do a lot of damage before the final fight.
This... Zralock is doing what he can, but it's not enough.
They're playing way too defensively. Nobody should survive that long in a 4v1.
And Trizoid is mounted somehow. And the horse kills itself.
Yeah, certain maps like do or don't have fleet lines, and that really cavalry. That's
yeah, the horse is
line.
Yeah, the horse. If you go to look at the bridge, the horse just killed itself. It jumped up the bridge.
I don't know how they get a fleet line in that direction. That's interesting. I didn't know that happens on this map. Trizoid kills Boot.
I mean, he got a horse. And bullet through. He actually gave PK a never mind.
Oh my gosh, these guys gotta stop getting stuck on walls, man.
Trizoid got a chance and he just threw it out the window. It seems.
He's knocked out entirely, so that's gonna be rough for this fight.
Yeah, remember that they are still first life for the
Prob goes down.
HCA.
It's gonna hurt them. That's one of their better infantry players for HCA who's dead. Picks the right person to stab, and then he goes down. This is gonna be tough. I think HCA has a big advantage here. And Antic knocks out Zralock. This is looking really bad for VK4.
You have to remember these are HCA's first lives still.
I didn't realize that. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's doomed for VK. Also, you said Parap is one of the best players. If you hold up for a second, you can realize that it's actually not. Parap is
I assumed way too much.
bombing the game.
Yeah, he's bombing.
Yep.
I assumed way too much.
Bombing the game.
Performance, yeah. Okay, well, I would say it's looking kind of bad for VK4.
Kind of bad is an understatement, in my opinion. There was an awful round coming from them, barely taking down their first place.
Jeez. What happens in the cavalry fight? Buddha and Antic. Apparently they're... Let's see if VK fights on the flag this time. Nope, there's... Antic knocks out
and Trizoid goes out early. Yeah, that's really bad for VK.
I would want them to start fighting closer to the wall if they're down a cav, which they're not really moving in that direction. If anything, they're moving out more into the open, which they should not be doing.
And this seems to be like another sweep from HCA side. VK has not finding the angle, it's not finding the skill to win the fights.
This is actually not going as bad as the first fight did last time.
I mean, still it was nearly a clean sweep. Only one inf down.
Does he have eco? He also...
Yes, he died.
This is almost as bad as last round. I don't see them turning this around entirely. And Trizoid is just completely out. Ugh.
Yeah, I think after this round maybe they're going back to 5-1.
Yeah, I think it's time to do that for VK4. Trizoid getting less score than 2 infantry players who are like, you know, they're decent, but they're not exceptional infantry players. That's really bad. We're in the third round. The third round's almost over, and he's gotten less than 100 score per round, or just over 100 score per round, which is less than what infantry should do. It's pretty realistic for, you know, infantry to get around 200 score per round. It's pretty realistic for Cav to do, you know, 200, 300, 400 score per round, somewhere in that vicinity. So definitely underperforming from, I think, even what he's capable of. But you know, really, we should expect for cavalry.
Yeah, maybe the nerfs getting to him. I don't know, but he's not doing as well as he could. Nevertheless, we're about to get the second fight. Really rough for BK, but never say never.
Die, filth!
They're fighting in a good spot for themselves, so I'm glad that they at least tried to force the fight in a place that's advantageous. They didn't do that necessarily the first time.
And from what I'm seeing, are 4 spears.
Yeah, I think they picked up a couple of those, but I hope they didn't go all Cav Breaker, because that's very unnecessary.
I mean, I only see 2 plated armors.
Yeah, you're right.
No, mind 3,
3.
only 1 went. Yeah. Only Cleon went spear.
Cleon's
So
not
they're
gonna
doing
go
a they're doing a good enough job of playing around the wall.
3 spears out when the infantry fight's starting? That's crazy.
Yeah, Zralock is already out.
Way too many for one spear, way too many.
Yeah. Yeah,
It was a very
BK
bad
is over
play.
for the round. Yeah. I hope they change something because it isn't clearly working. And Empire is not like it's a bad faction.
Yeah, Battledroid's doing reasonably well, but he's not shutting down Antic and Buddha as much as he did in the rounds where they were winning, obviously. So
No, yeah,
I think, drop Trizoid on Cav, I think, is the move.
Yeah, HCA Scaff is doing a lot of work, yeah.
They went to 5.
BK is, is trying 5-1 with 1 spear on Trizoid. Let's hope he puts it to work. They really need it. Battling.
Battledroid just took like at least 100 damage to his horse for very little benefit there. Fighting right away is a good idea. You don't want to let your Cav just get whittled down doing not much. Yeah, that's huge. Battledroid's got a tough job fighting 2 Cav who are competent at their job. That's gonna hurt. He didn't have to get hurt early on. I don't know if I would have contested. Wow, that's going really badly for VK4. One thing to say about cavalry. So, if you're going to be contesting an objective versus 2 cavalry, you can't be defensive. Like, you either leave them fights, or you play like a match charge, and then your horse gets whittled down into blocking. Bad move. Like, you cannot be holding a block in front of 2 people who are stabbing you. You want to be either not in that situation aggressively and trying to go for a pick, but you do not combine the approach of being in danger and then doing nothing. Which, you know, easy to do, easy to say that in hindsight, but that's, you know, what you want to avoid doing if you can.
Something I dislike him from BK, they have 2 spears out with, well, no gas around.
Although I would not be surprised to see the second life cat come back in.
Seems they are doing what they should, which is play morale. And
Battledroid's
B1
not
got
aware.
caught
Is
in
he
the back,
out?
yeah.
Oh, he's out.
He's
He
out.
should have been paying attention. And
Yeah.
probably had no call out there.
no, everyone on DD speaks, which is pretty odd.
Well, that's gonna help. It's gonna help a lot to have this guy dead. Is that last life? I think that was his last life.
That's last life Buddha, so it's 5 imp versus 4-1.
Kind of. Are they?
Yeah.
At all? Yeah, one of them's hurt, so it's mostly even. They need to put away.
I think it really depends on how Sintra. If Sintra can get a dismount.
2 spears is so stupid. They need to drop one of these spears. Oh my god. It's looking bad. Looking bad here. They've been holding 2 spears this whole time. That's such a bad play.
Well, it's 3v5. Pretty hard to recover. And it seems that it's a half coming from for HCA. Unless, yeah. Another 3-1 coming in from this game. Well, what are your thoughts, Thief?
I won't say who, but I did just yell to somebody in DMs, "Stop going 2 spears in the infight." Oh my god. All caps letter A 5 times over.
Real.
Sounds like someone who is competent at the game was saying, "Hey, I'll be spear," and then somebody else was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do that anyways as well," which is like, people have assigned roles and they need to follow them, and not just do whatever the hell they want to do.
Anyway, good for it, and I trying to remove some bias. Good for HCA. They're actually doing better than we thought from the first half.
Yeah, they
they're doing, especially their calf. Their calf is doing really well. Nearly outscoring by 3 times their own inf, both of them. So yeah, Antic, well, woke up after the first half and is actually doing really well. Let's see if they can replicate that win in the Empire side, or can BK take it back. Because I'm not sure, but I don't think that was a faction diff. Because Empire by itself is really good.
I would say Battania infantry should kind of win slightly more often. I think, off the top of my head, I don't know the win rates. Like the Battania win rate is better versus Empire. If you look at the the VK bot.
I'm going to pull out the data. I mean, so overall, fun fact on the VK bot, Battania has a lower win rate than Empire.
Really?
Yeah, it's on the VK
what about
bot.
Like
it's 50.
after? The thing is though, that's the overall win rate, like the after the peasant.
Yeah. Let's find out. Okay, so apparently. You can only look at the worst matchup.
Yeah.
That makes me really sad.
There's probably not a way to filter out the first rounds.
Yeah.
So,
Well. So some interesting stats. It's apparently traditionally thought of awful matchup. Aserai has a good matchup into Sturia apparently.
I really hate Aserai.
Yeah. Like, Storja has even the blunt damage reduction, so that's crazy.
Well, they're doing
anyway,
5-1 again.
Back into the game. 5-1 again on Battania. Interesting. Battania generally considered to be one of the best calves.
Nice.
And a huge early hit. Yeah, 41 damage.
40 damage. I bet it was about 40. That was a really
another
good
free hit. Yeah, another free hit. And apparently some team damage as well from HCA. Not the start that you wanna see.
Yeah, his horse took probably 80 plus damage there. I would not be surprised.
No, B1 has taken no damage. If you hold up, B1 has taken no damage. Yeah, they have no score.
Okay.
Nevertheless, damage. The fight is starting now. B1 already with 200 score. Let's see how much more can he get.
Crab gets knocked out early. Trizoid goes down, blue top doing some damage. Cleon goes down. Was he spearing? I didn't see that. Well, they won handily with their first lives, except then Antic goes down trying to even it up. So it's an okay trade for them.
Just realized that we weren't streaming in the Discord call.
Oh, we are. Well, I mean, I'm streaming
On the Discord, not we weren't. So we had 3 listeners just watching the game as well. Anyway, back to the game. It was a fairly good fight for VK. 2 people left. They can do some solid damage.
Ooh,
Never mind.
Pay more attention.
Let's see what Sintra can do.
Did he get one hit in there? It's hard to say.
Yeah, one hit. Yeah, he had one hit in the shoulder. It was in the shoulder, so it shouldn't be that much damage. But still, any damage is good damage. Maybe they can pull a miracle with this peasant life, as long as they don't get fucked by Cav, as always.
I think
Crab
is trying to get recruited by VK4 by team killing his own team.
Maybe. It would be really interesting if we saw a poach in the middle of a game. Unless VK being little loot goblins and getting what they can, as they should.
Ooh, Cleon's just taking damage for no. He's not.
Yeah.
Why is he sitting in the middle of nowhere spearing 2 Cav without his team? That just doesn't make sense. And he got.
That makes it a lot harder. Yeah, that makes it a lot harder for VK to win this fight, even with the low chances they already had. Maybe they can pull off a miracle. Let's find out.
Maybe Battledroid plays perfectly. No, he's dead.
No. Yeah, as expected. As always, Empire wins the first round.
Alright, well, let's see the turn
Now-
around here.
Yeah, if BK wants to win and force a tiebreaker, they need to win 3 rounds in a row.
Alright. It's gonna be.
Let's hope BK can pull it off. You can see Fifth here pulling in some clear bias.
I was just telling them they have this is their chance. I'm not hiding the fact that I'm on the VK3's team. Anyways,
We have Cleon on the spear. An interesting choice.
it's been like that for most of the game. I feel like.
No, it's been bouncing between Trizoid, Sintra, and now Cleon.
Okay. I think he keeps picking it up, so I've always been assuming it's been what he's been having. They're gonna pull back to the wall, which makes sense if they're gonna have a lesser number of Cav, and actually really to their benefit to have the backs of Empire exposed to the open area. So they're in the better spot here. VK4 is.
They got 1 Cav out, but 1 info on BK side is out too.
That's huge to have both Cav.
No dismount. Yeah, they have no Cav now. HCA. This is BK's fight to lose.
Which they might do.
Yeah, a huge team kill coming in from, a huge team hit coming in from B1. I think he chunked someone for like 40 damage.
Oh my god, they did turn this into a loss. Wow.
And they actually snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. That's crazy.
Good way to put it. Can he do any damage? Oh, it's huge. PhoenixDawn really... That's huge.
PhoenixDawn popping off and getting a kill. That's huge,
That was a great shot. One getting a kill there is big.
Yeah, now HCA only has 2 lives. Yeah, HCA only has 2 lives. If BK plays it well, they take no damage and it's another even fight.
But I bet their character is going to help them, and Droid is not in the fight. He has to see, I guess.
Look at morale. Yeah.
That makes sense. He has to.
Losing morale pretty hard, yeah. But it seems that the infight went well for BK. I don't see no damage on them. Now let's hope they can convert this into a victory, which they should be able to do. It's an even fight as long as they don't choke this one. B1 got a lot of damage on his horse. That's really bad for VK.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to joust a heavy cav in close quarters in a 2v1. You do not want to be in this scenario at all. He should have just stayed at the infantry. I feel like going for that was just very greedy to try to hit the infantry.
Oh, we got the fight going on. Yeah. And
That's big.
Antic is out. That's big, yeah. By now, Cleon should drop the spear.
It's gonna be really big. Oh my god, he just gets a free horse. I think VK4 might
But
take
it's
this.
maybe, but they have a spear that's focusing too much on the calf, and he's doing no damage on the infight.
True.
That's really bad. He said he's yet to drop the spear.
They would have had a
Yeah,
better
and
chance
he's
of
out.
just going on sword only.
Yeah, it seems that it's a loss for VK unless B1 pulls off a schizo play. Never mind.
Oh my god.
And VK loses the match. That was really rough to watch.
Could still turn into a 9-8. You know, they want every round
It could
here,
still be
'cause-
a 9-8, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a defeat. You know, we're 10. Completely embarrassing, but you have anywhere from 10-5 to 9-8. I don't know. Trizoid back on Cav. I feel like they've already lost. They'll try something different. Why not?
I mean, he hasn't been doing anything at all. And if 170 score on 2 rounds, pretty rough.
Yeah, he actually, even if he didn't do well on Cav, I think he would have done better score-wise than 169. But it's not just about score, it's also about holding off the enemy and helping your teammates.
And by now he's already dismounted.
Yeah, well, then he gets
as they
to
should.
because saves them.
Yeah, but the infight has started. And
Well,
an
HCA
early
can't
dismount
away.
from the HCA. If only they played like this last round.
Right. Yeah, that would have been the time to do it. When it mattered.
If only. A bit crazy, not gonna lie.
I predicted here because it's gonna be a 9-8, and the reason why it's gonna be a 9-8 is it's gonna take the longest for the stream to end, and I'm kind of already emotionally drained from seeing them lose.
Don't worry, you have your own match to be in while to lose.
Well,
Or win.
I have even more reasons to be excited about that, which I won't now.
Oh,
We'll share the bad news later if
Interesting.
it turns out that way.
wait, bad news?
Maybe, we'll see.
Damn. And
Ooh.
crazy rear from the heavy calf. Antic is out completely, both
Lots
calf
of
are
deaths
out.
real quick here.
And BK chose to grow hands and stomp the round, apparently.
I mean, their second lives here are pretty lit on HCA. These guys are looking just about toast. Blue tops damage.
Yeah, like BK chose to turn the monitors on or something, but they just started stomping. But now, yeah, it's a 6-4 for BK side, and it seems like they're round to lose. Let's hope they don't do it again. And an early rear from Trizoid, he manages to get away. And yeah, they seem to be cleaning it up like they should.
Easy win here for VK4.
An easy win. If
I mean,
only,
if you
man,
think
if
about
only.
it, didn't they lose the previous 5 rounds? Because it turned into like a 3 whatever.
Yeah,
last map.
they lost the previous 5 rounds.
It's a lot to lose in a row.
I think Terex went in them to coach them.
The Unk IGL.
And yeah, you always need the old man. It's like any sports movie, you know. They're all to retiree.
Hopefully he doesn't see the stream. Anyways. I appreciate some discretion, didn't go in there and suicide into the wall. That would have been a very bad spot to try to get a bump stab in. And wow, Buddha gets
seems
knocked
like
out.
Buddha chose to do to kill himself actually, and bumped into a wall next to the but anti-compensates by clean off Trizoid. Buddha comes in second life, tries to get on B1, but he cannot. B1 dies, but it doesn't seem to matter. Trizoid comes in second life.
First cat kill.
Yeah. That's kinda sad. Now that you say
First
it.
one I've seen.
But
So it's the first
yeah,
one.
BK cleans it. And Trizoid is mounted on second life. There are a lot of horses. Let's see if we can get one. He can. But he might get this
He has
mounted
no
right now.
awareness. Why? Why would you not look? People are just not looking.
don't know,
But why? Why? I don't know.
But that's Buddha is mounted on second life. If they get him out
Anyway.
now,
He drops.
yeah, he
Dynasty
needs
Spirit
to.
try to run
Yeah,
away.
yeah, he needs to run because otherwise he's dead.
Wow.
And that's Antic trying to save him.
And they didn't.
But he got-
They didn't listen, or he didn't call out, but they didn't try and help him, which is very.
And Trizoid got
Tarzan.
himself killed. Of course, he had to make the match again because he felt bad.
That makes sense. Gotta watch
Yeah.
out for your enemies.
It's always one of the core values of
Zralock is.
Yeah.
Why is Cleon? Like I do not like that.
I think he's full life, maybe. If he's full HP, it doesn't make sense. Never mind, he's going to
No,
die
he's just
in
very
late.
silly.
Yeah, very silly man.
Oh my god.
Goes to die instantly. Anyway, one of the core values of VK is generosity. That's why Trizoid threw his fucking life away. Because he needs to spread the love with HCA's players.
I just incremented the scoreboard. I believe that we're at a 9-6 right now.
We are at 9-6 indeed. Now the fight has started. Let's see if we can extend our suffering.
Just expect the worst possible outcome, and then you won't be disappointed. That's what I plan for.
I don't know, man. Yeah, you see, we're expecting the worst possible outcome, and yet they are winning. They are winning
Well, that-
pretty
to a
hard,
certain-
actually.
To a certain point of view, I would say 9 is the worst possible outcome. So I'm ready to I'm ready to call it here, personally. But they do have to
Well-
finish it out.
And Antic chose to respawn and not save the life.
Well, that was
Because
kind of troll
he can
decision.
somehow beat a 4v1. Let's see if he can do it. Misses one, yes.
Was not even close.
Shields the other. The other one goes to fucking Narnia. You know Narnia?
I'm aware of it. I've heard of this. This is not
Yeah.
unheard of.
And he dies instantly. Nice use of a
Nice.
life. And 9-7 to extend their suffering. How do you feel about this, Fifth?
I wish they could have. I did not realize that there's a pig in this tower. Do you guys know about that?
There's a pig where? In
There's
what
a pig
tower?
in the tower. Do you see this
What
pig in
tower?
the tower? The tower.
I
There's a
don't
pig.
see a pig. I don't.
On top
Where?
of the tallest
What-
tower. On the...
Oh yeah, yes, I realized. What the fuck? That's crazy. Well, that's Light. It's the house. His name is Light, and
That
it's
makes sense.
it's his house. Yeah, that's why it's
It's
called
like
Lighthouse.
Yagami from the hit series
Yeah.
Death Note on top of the tower.
Yeah. After he died, he became a pig and went into Bannerlord. Spoilers, by the way.
That makes sense. Reincarnation.
And Antic dies instantly to Trizoid, and finally BK's cast chooses to play the game and kill two people off instantly.
That's a big hit from the HCA cav there.
Yeah, but they have 2 players down. I don't think they can take it back.
Oh,
And yeah, it's a complete sweep. Imagine if they played like this 2 rounds ago.
right. Right. Apparently, my decision to say put Trizoid in infantry wasn't my call for the team, but they did it at the same time that I decided that it was a good idea.
Yeah, it's your fault,
Apparently,
Steve. You
that was
threw
mistaken.
the game for VK. Yeah, you threw the game for VK, man.
No,
It's
I
all your
just thought
fault.
something that they were thinking.
No, man, you might control them. And apparently, I just realized that HCA is running 5-1.
I did not notice that.
which seems to be working for them. B1 and Trizoid have an extra life. Sintra is on
Yes,
White
Blue
Wing.
decided he's tired of getting schizoed.
Yeah. And they are hiding in the corner like they should be. And they seem to be struggling with morale. We might actually see the...
No, they're not.
I don't know, but it seems to be the second morale pressure that we're going to see. They need to stay on the point. And Trizoid gets reared instantly, it doesn't matter, he has another life.
Well, it does matter if he's not in the fight for the most important parts of it, which is the early part.
Phoenix is out, that's a strong player. Antic rage quits, apparently.
Oh wow.
B1
I really hate
dies,
when they
doesn't
rage quit
matter.
because then it makes it hard to get the end of match scores. It's so fucking annoying.
It's a 4v2, 4v1, and BK cleans house. But it doesn't matter if the house is clean because they already stole everything in it. But HCA wins the match 9-8.
Wow.
And BK
Wow.
loses.
What a match.
Now I'm going to go yell at them.
I say what a match, kind of like in the sense of how dare they subject me to that. They win all those rounds at the end there instead of actually winning earlier on. But yeah, I guess Puddin's gonna go give them a talking to. I don't know what I want to say. I want to say they threw several rounds by using those spears for no particular reason. Like 3 spears, 2 spears, just way too many. More than one is usually too many. Unless you have some very, very solid players. Having more than one spear is drastically reducing the pressure on the enemies who are just wailing at you with their swords, which is not good to have them unobstructed. Alright, so that's about the match. That they actually performing very well on Cav. I think it's just he performed even worse on infantry. I think that they maybe gave up on him a little bit too early, but like he also just wasn't doing that well on Cav either. What else is there to say? Antic and Buddha both did really well, kind of carried their team. I think I want to say I feel like if it was just like a 4 5v5, I feel like VK might have had the advantage overall there. I think with how much score the Cal doing, for the match to be still somewhat close, it is obviously pretty close. I think it was a slight infantry advantage to VK. They still lost regardless. So, what else is there to mention? Their better lives. I don't know. I think we're about. Although Putin wants to speak, so I'll let you back on the stage here for a second.
Anyway,
yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that was an interesting match. According to BK's, I'm going to do like an. Well, I talked to them, asked about what happened, and it seems like they made the adjustments too late. They are angry with themselves, which makes sense. But I saw a lot of positivity still because, well, they learned a lot about this game. Yeah, they hope they will do better next time.
Did you get a chance to ask them what adjustment you think that they should have made earlier?
Apparently, they realized a little too late how oppressive the CAF were. So putting in Trizoid on CAF was the right play, and it should have been earlier because if you saw the scores, HCA's CAF was really dominating. So they said the infline was trash, in their words. Their infline was trash, so we should have just not gone 5-1, instead gone 4-2, 1 spear and 1 earlier. And
one thing I will say,
focus on the CAF.
If you're losing like 5 rounds in a row, you should probably change it up to the comp, you know, after the third or fourth round in a row of losing.
Menevalion.
It's not working.
But yeah, a rough game for BK. They will bounce back.
Yeah.
And yeah, good on HCA.
Come on.
Well done for them. And yeah, that was an interesting match. Really close. A lot
think we
closer than
need,
the scores makes it seem. But yeah.
I think this D Division team is going to have a much better chance if Trizoid just gets a bunch of reps in on cap duels. I think
No,
they'll have a better chance.
The team will have a lot more chance if they have a disabled man with them. They have Rakmis with them. He wasn't playing today.
Oh, good point. Yeah, that's another good point. Rakmis' absence was definitely felt here. He's very solid on infantry, and like I said, his absence is going to hurt the team quite a bit. I think that they might have just carried it on infantry alone had he been here. So shame on Rakmis. You know, whether there was a funeral or a wedding, he should have known that Bannerlord is more important. But apparently wanted to throw the game for them, so he had to leave. Anyways, I think with all that being said, appreciate putting your time here co-hosting, and I appreciate the players' efforts here. We're going to wrap it up here. Have a good night, everyone. We do have another stream here for C Division. Hopefully, we'll see. There are scheduling difficulties, so there's a possibility of no game tonight, but I'm hoping for it to occur as scheduled.